And we're live. Live. Let's look at the printer that's actually printing. At least have the printer that's printing in view, right? So, anyways, it is Wednesday morning, and it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's not cloudy, but it's not sunny. It's not just one of them lazy days. It's kind of chilly. It's not cold. It's in the mid 60s, low 60s. Just don't feel like doing anything. Spent a lot of time yesterday out blowing / vacuuming leaves most of the day yesterday. And it was kind of a waste because it was windy last night and all the leaves are back down again. More leaves are down. So it looks like I didn't even do anything, which is fine. I mean, when you start doing it this early, it's a maintenance thing, so it's easier later. There's that many less. You don't get overwhelmed with them all at once, but it kind of sucks. It's nice to have a day or two of it looking good. Anyway, AARP. Oh, who cares? I'm so tired of that crap. So, there's not a soul here, which is just peachy. Let's share a screen. And see what's on Twitter besides political stuff and Eddie Van Halen, and we've all heard it. Oh, is country still streaming? I didn't even look. Is Walter streaming? Oops. Weirdo. Is he still alive? They may kill it if he's still alive. Oh, it must not be if it's.
Exactly well here. It's just a question of mounting those, the why, getting some belts on it, and getting some movement going.
Getting some movement going, Walter. I miss that. This is awesome. I don't know if you guys seen this. This guy does some really cool stuff. This is showing through. Yeah, it is. He's done like printing of the mini. They're almost like Wixter minis, but more detailed, I guess. But it's the Alien and Predator. This guy does really phenomenal printing. He didn't design them, I guess. He's just printing them. Anyway, it's on Facebook today. Anything exciting? What's on Facebook? There's an old Android saying, which I feel particularly relevant in this situation, goes blah, 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 which roughly translate it means don't stand around jabbering with your life. Dang, hey, wait for me, you guys. Okay. Not sure what that all means, but who's busting on Trump today? Who cares? I'm at the point where if you're going to vote for that idiot, you're going to vote for him, and if you're not, you're not, and that's that. They're both idiots. And done worrying about it. Anyway, stop screen sharing. So life goes on. 3D printing the sad pumpkin I designed yesterday. Trying to get into ZBrush Core. It's a light version of ZBrush. To be honest, I was looking at ZBrush the full thing, and not only is it ridiculously expensive, but the added features are stuff well above and beyond what I'll ever use anyways, because I'm having a hard enough time dealing with ZBrush Core, which I already own. So there's no point in upgrading to ZBrush because the limits that ZBrush Core have aren't affecting me even in the slightest yet. You know, if I ever learn it enough to get into it that deeply, I probably will get ZBrush because I may hit, you know, the walls that the core version presents. But I'm far from worrying about hitting those. I mean, there's like, you can have, I don't know, 30 sub items in core where it's like 90 or 100 or something in full ZBrush. I can barely deal with 2. So, what's up, Joe? How is life? It's coffee hour. I missed Walter this morning. I don't know why. I never got a notification. I usually watch him in the morning because he gets up about the same time I do. How's the new homestead? Y'all moved in and settled in and everything good now? No more boxes? I'm guessing you still got boxes. Everybody does. It takes a year to unbox everything. I'm at the point where I just start throwing the boxes away. If I haven't used it in a year, I don't need it. Just don't need the crap. Might actually what I do today. I'm going to go out in the garage and heave stuff. Starting to go through all my father's crap. And a lot of his stuff is duplicates of my stuff and don't need 2 freaking Phillips head screwdrivers, you know, that kind of thing. So I'll look at them both and decide which one's better and keep one and get rid of the other. I may have to have like a big old garage sale at some point. This weekend would have been good if I thought about it because my mother won't be here. My niece is getting married this weekend. And no one's allowed to go. Because we're all, you know, in quarantine. But we're shipping my mother up because she wanted to go and my niece wanted her there. And my niece like asked, she's like, "Do you care if I don't invite you to the wedding?" I'm like, "Yes." I hate weddings. It just annoys me. It's like I feel great. I'm glad she's getting married. I'm glad she's happy. The guy she's marrying is a cool dude. He bought a 3D printer. Got him into 3D printing. We BS every once in a while. Good dude. Seems to be. And but I just don't like going to weddings. They're boring to me, you know. And I think she's putting it online, so all the important stuff I can like video watch, and I don't know. I'm like, yay! I don't have to travel all the way up to Boston and deal with that and stay there, and I can stay home and just be happy. And I'll be quiet. I don't have to deal with anything here for like 3 days because my mother will be gone, so I don't have to care for her. So it's like a vacation for me. A staycation, which will be awesome. And the Sad Pumpkin is printing on the pumpkin. It's the pumpkin printer printing the pumpkin. Yep. I don't know. I just kind of spur of the moment did it, so probably hasn't gone out. I have a feeling YouTube isn't sending out notifications because I didn't get one for Country this morning for Walter. I didn't get one last night for Jerry or for Work Hockey, which I normally do, you know, within 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of when they go live, I get an email. And none of it went through last night. So unless they're looking, they won't get it. And it's, you know, it's kind of early. It's only 8 o'clock here. A lot of these folks are on the other time zones. They posted on Twitter, didn't they? I really wanted to talk to Mr. Riley, just BS with him about his issues. And okay, cool. Oh yeah, let me put that in there. Is this the right one? And be. Nope, that's the YouTube one. Let me give you a StreamYards link. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on a stream, hanging out. Yeah. What was I babbling about? I don't know. I was babbling about something. I was babbling. I kind of miss the Max Micron. And the kid that I sold it to keeps screwing it up. I don't know why he's having so much problems. I printed with that thing as long as you just. It's a PLA TPU printer. If you use decent PLA TPU, that thing printed like a dream. Very seldom had to do anything to it. I still think that old MK8 extruder setup, that particular one especially, where the it's similar to like the Wanhos and Hicktop. It was a Hicktop. Hicktop and Max Micron were the same company, from what I understand. Max Micron was the high-end Hicktops. It was like the Lexus of Toyota kind of thing, from what I understand. Anyway, it had an MK8 style extruder with the single gear and everything, but it worked. It just worked beautifully, and it wasn't that. I had a separate heater block and a separate extruder, and all the parts are separate. It wasn't like those cheapo ones you see now where everything's all built into one and you screw it in and you need a bolt. You didn't need a bolt. You use a real heat rate, not just a threaded rod with a hole in the middle, like some of the old MK8s were. The MK8 got a bad rap because a lot of companies made that cheap extruder modified and screwed it up. The original ones where you had a, what's up, Mike? The original ones where you had an aluminum block, that was your cooling block mounted to the carriage. You threaded your heat break up into it, had the clamp on fins, motor on the other side, all one, squished, and then had a separate extruder. The ones where they've combined the extruder, aluminum body, and the cooling block all in one, those sucked. Because they didn't, for one, they never lined up right. I don't know how they couldn't line up the frickin' hole. But you couldn't modify it. You couldn't run TPU in it. Mine, my extruder was PLA. Worked beautiful. I had it for, 4 years, 5 years? Never had a problem. This kid is just having serious issues, and I think it's the filament. He's using Zyotech filament. I keep going, dude. Nothing wrong with Zyotech. I got nothing against him, but every once in a while, he's got this one roll he wants to burn to him. Like, dude, I gave him 2 rolls of filament. What's up, Mr. Buttram? Gave him 2 rolls of filament. One of them was, there wasn't a lot left on them. One of them was Jesse, and the other one was the Modestro, whatever, that you used to be able to get through Printed Solid. That's really nice HT PLA. Beautiful color, too. I love that color. There was only like an inch left on the roll. But he puts that in there, runs fine. He puts his Zyotech back in there, it jams up. It's like, okay, that kind of tells you it's a Zyotech. And he keeps trying to use it, keeps jamming it. I have a feeling he just got a bad roll, which, done. Everybody makes one bad roll now and again. If you're 99% quality, you still get that one. It means there's one out of every 100 that's bad. And it happens. I keep saying, just get rid of that one roll and try something else. And he just wants that roll. Cool. inherited. Gen 5, isn't that like a brandy new one? Like the one that MakerBot. I was thinking Craftbot. I always get them all mixed up. It's like any of them. There's these people that bitch about these printers. Any printer can be good. Granted, I replaced like 90% of that thing. But any printer can be good if you add enough new parts. Now, most printers, as long as the basic functionality is good, if the mechanics are reasonably stable, the biggest problem I found are boards, software, firmware. You could pretty much take any printer, and again, as long as the basic mechanics are working, you can make it print decently. You may have to print really slow. The MakerBots aren't bad, are they? I know they made a couple that were like total pieces of crap, and they were crap because the hardware was crap. They used like a really bad custom hot end or something. I don't know. I was never big into the MakerBots. Their original ones were like workhorses. They were the original like Peugeot workhorse, weren't they? Wasn't it MakerBot? Yeah. But even still, a lot of times the even if you understand the firmware, sometimes the board is just your limiting factor. And if it don't work, it just don't work. There's no fixing it. It's replace it. Where hardware is repairable. But that's cool. The MakerBot replicators aren't bad though, are they? I mean, they were overpriced if I remember. But they weren't a bad printer. It's just everyone's like, I can get the same thing for a quarter of the money. Because that's a big boxy one, right? And 5, you said. Let's look. Yeah. It's it's one of these things, right? Oh, no way. Well, there's still Stratasys, right? MakerBot got bought out by Stratasys. That's basically it, isn't it? Probably an older version, but they haven't really changed them much. They added a bunch of fancy features, but they're just overpriced. And it's a really big box for kind of a small build plate, too. It's only like 190 by 210 or something, isn't it? It's the size on this thing. Doesn't even say. Product dimension. Amazon for you. Firmware version. Hey, for $100 less, you can have crappier version hardware firmware. I don't get that. Yeah, they were trying to compete with like the Ultimakers and the Raise 3Ds, and I mean I shouldn't say Raise 3D because Raise 3D is more about being a big monstrosity, but I mean it's not a bad printer from the looks of it. Well, I understand they're pretty sturdy and ruggedly built, and yeah, they got bought out by Stratasys. I don't know. If someone gave me one, I wouldn't balk at it. I'd probably use it. I'd probably tear it apart and remove the hot end. Probably tear it apart if I remember correctly. I'd remove the hot end and just put a standard like something else on it. And even if I had to build my own custom carriage, and I'd probably replace the actual board. We have a not Joe.
I'm driving.
Audio Joe.
I'm driving, and I don't have my my window moved anymore. So I
When
don't.
you're driving, dude, you should probably drive, not stream.
I could talk. It's no different than talking.
I know. I'm busting your ass, dude.
That's why I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know.
Are you quiet, or is it just my TV's quiet?
How's that? Is that better?
It was fine. I just had the TV volume way down. I get up in the morning. I have this weird like hearing issue. I actually don't hear that well, but my hearing's like super sensitive. So when I first wake up, I hear noises. I can't discern sounds. That makes sense. I hear really well. It's just not accurate. There you go. So when I get up in the morning, if the TV's loud, it's literally painful in my head. So I turn my TV down to like nothing.
So you can't. So it's more of a focus thing. It sounds like.
What's that?
I said it sounds like it's more of a focus thing. Like you're not.
Yeah, I've bumped my head too many times over the years.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah, it's too many loud machines and too many loud equipment and too much. I can hear everything. I just can't tell what it is I'm hearing. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Which is part of why I can't say stuff, because I can't hear it pronounced properly either. Like, you know, when I stumble over saying something, it's because I can't pronounce it, because I don't know how it actually sounds, because it all sounds the same to me. But I can hear the damn train tracks right now. I know the freaking mic ain't picking it up, but that's getting freaking annoying. Well, to make it worse, my neighbor over here. What's that?
I was going to say my issue is like I have to sleep with earplugs because I hear everything.
We're losing your audio, dude.
Is that any better?
Yeah. Well,
I switched over to my Bluetooth. So
yeah, about 2 months ago, my neighbor started rebuilding this dam. The dam kept breaking out and flooding the road. It broke out like 4 times in less than 10 years. So the state and the Army Corps engineer said, nope, you're not rebuilding it. We don't want it. Every time it blows out, it floods the road, and then we have problems because you can't maintain your dam. So for the last 10 years, he's been getting engineers up there, and because it basically like quartered the property value of his property, because most of his property is waterfront with the pond there. Without the pond there, there's no waterfront. It's just a little stream. Anyway, he finally got the dam done, approved, had to rebuild basically his whole front yard, put all this concrete and rebar in, because, 5 years or 10 years ago, the last time he did it, he concreted the dam, but it's all dirt buildup around it, and every time we'd get like a major rainstorm, it would just break on the side of the dam. So we had to redo the whole arc. It's like 200 or 300 yards long now. Anyway, month and a half, 2 months of him doing that. Literally the day he stops with all the beep, beep, beep construction trucks, those mothers out on Amtrak start doing it. And they've been going for about a month straight. So every day, 4 o'clock in the morning, you hear beep, 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 beep as all the trucks drive in and back up and line up. And
that's
I don't even mind the side of construction. It's those stupid backup beepers. Those things are the most annoying. They need to find a better way.
Well, isn't that the whole idea behind the backup beepers?
Yes, is that you hear it, but it doesn't need to be freaking annoying.
Well, They gotta keep it on your toes somehow.
Yeah, I mean it's a safety issue, and I get it. Blah blah blah, but doesn't
I know.
mean you have to like it.
No, it does not. It does not. You have to like it.
Print Legends movie. What was that on? Is that like a
What's
YouTube
that?
thing? There's a
What?
Print Legends movie for like 3D printing. I think I saw that somewhere, and I went to watch it, and then I spaced it off. That's on like YouTube or something, right? Who did that, Buttram? Post a link. We all want to know. I want to know. I remember seeing something about it, and it just kind of scrolled by, and it was on like YouTube. I mean, on Twitter, someone mentioned it or something, and I kind of said, "Yeah, that'd be cool," and scrolled. Never went back to it. I would like to watch it, just for
I didn't see it at all, so I'm not even sure. I watched almost zero TV as of late. I mean, I don't
You
even
actually have a life?
No. So I finally got the house up for sale, the old house up for sale, because I got everything done that I thought had to be done.
Your audio's breaking up really bad, dude.
I wonder if it's this Bluetooth headset.
1 minute it's really good, and the next minute it's like you're off into the way off distance. And now you're gone completely.
How's that? Is that any better?
No. It almost sounds like it's just too, like, are you using a headphone mic or something? It almost sounds like you're just too far away from it.
I had my Bluetooth on, and it was like right next to my neck.
Yeah. It's almost like it's keying on and off because sometimes when you're talking, it's not loud enough, so it doesn't key it. If that makes sense. You get like every other word.
All right. Is that any better?
That's definitely better.
Okay. I went back to the speaker and microphone on the phone. I thought the
And you're gone. Oh, well. Travel streaming is just not the most reliable thing. What's up, Danny boy? Mr. Dan. Dan's Cat and Kids Playpen. Kittens and Kids Playpen. There you go. Dan's Kittens and Kids Playpen. And we lost him. Yeah, me too. I'm working. Not. I don't even have to deal with Mom for most of the day because I'm not even sure when she's leaving. Here we go. Let's try again. I'm not sure when she's leaving. She's either leaving tomorrow or Friday.
Hey.
On until Monday or Tuesday, I think, which is yay. I can wake up late. I don't have to worry about breakfast and lunch. I can eat whatever the hell I want. Don't have to worry about her crap. Oh, that'll just make life easy for 3 or 4 days. I can clean. I don't have to worry about her crap getting in my way while I clean. Oh, it's just going to be nice. I just wish it could be like for a week or two. Not just the weekend. But I'll take the weekend. Oh, that's right. You're back to work, aren't you? I just thought that Danny boy was out because his daughter claimed COVID. And he got booted for a week or a couple days or whatever it was. If anybody else wants to hop in, not that there's that many people here. And we lost Joe again. Joe's driving. Driving and streaming just don't seem to work too well. all next week. Which means you should be caring for your wife, not streaming. I know you'll be streaming now because you might as well. How is the sad pumpkin going? It looks pretty good. I designed the bottom of it a little too steep. And of course, I just clean the printer every once a month, especially when it's sat for a while. I like to take it apart and basically dust it because it's so dusty here. And I forgot to plug the fan back in, the part cooling fan. And the bottom of the sad pumpkin is kind of a steep angle. And all of a sudden I heard the nozzle rubbing on, because it curled, because it wasn't too much overhang and no cooling. It curled up. I heard it go clunk, clunk, hitting the nozzle. It's like, oh, crap. So I checked it out. I just plugged the fan in. I didn't even turn it off. I was hoping the board wouldn't blow up, which it didn't. And off it's going and printing fine now, but it is kind of a steep angle at the bottom of the pumpkin. But I think I'm going to leave it. The only problem with doing that kind of stuff is you can't, when you model it, you can't. It looks wrong if you make the angle correct for printing without supports. The only place it should need supports is on the one tooth, on the upper pointy tooth. Because otherwise that would just print in midair. But it's looking pretty good in the old Jesse burn my retinas out mystery orange PLA. Can't even turn a light on over there. It'll hurt your eyes. I should turn the light on over there. I wonder how that'll blow out. Did that blow out the camera? Yes, it did. Turn it off again. Anyway, oh crap. I'm not even going to go outside and do anything today. I might go out in the garage and play for half an hour. My knees are bothering me. Print the Legend is a Netflix, I think. Netflix. Let us find out. Let's share a screen. The whole screen and nothing but the screen. So help me, StreamYards. Print the Legends. Oh, it's old. So I thought someone just did a new one. I think I seen this one. Netflix original focused on 3D printing revolution at garage. 3D printing industry focused on startup companies, microproduct, form labs, blah blah blah. Established company like Stratasys. It's the best film when I can't get in Canada. You should get some, dude. You should find a way. Someone should ship it to you. Because that is so Mike Orange. It's unreal. What's up, Mr. Cassell? I thought there was a new one that came out. For some reason I just recently saw an ad for it. Unless it's like a thing coming around again. One of those, no one's been watching it lately, so if we start throwing up ads, people start watching again. I never saw it. I think I did see this, actually. If I can't remember, I need to watch it again. Yeah, problem is you can't do that now. No smuggling. It's virtual. Unless you can virtually, transport it. There's no smuggling. It's I really wish you'd make more, how to say this without people taking it wrong. Jesse PLA is awesome. There's 3 colors I really like and print the best. And I find they're the ones the most saturated in color. the mystery orange, the blue moon, and one other one. The rest of them all kind of, I mean, they print fine, but these just print like butter. The mystery prints like butter. The blue moon prints like gorgeous, but they're really saturated in color. They're really bright and vivid. I don't know if it's just the fluorescent tones or whatever that make them deep and bright, and whether it's just more color pigment, what it is, but some of the other ones, everyone seems to love the slime green. It printed beautiful. I just didn't think the color. It was just kind of blah green. It was almost, I don't know. It didn't have that saturated color feel to it. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. I will be buying another roll of it. I just bought 3 rolls. I actually think, what did I just buy? The transparent red, I think. I just got a roll of. Oh, thanks, Stan. Remember to hit the dislike. I'll remember that one in your next stream, you disliking bastard. No, I don't give a crap. Yeah, I know this is supposed to be truly fluorescent black light glow. I haven't had a black light since I was a pothead teenager. I used to have black light posters all over the place. In that room over there. And the one on the other side of this closet. That's where I grew up as a little kid. Really. We had a house before this one, but yeah, I figured that's what happened there, Joe. It is what it is. I'm probably not going to last much longer anyways. I didn't expect to stay on for but half an hour or an hour. I was just bored. Hadn't streamed in a while in the morning. Been joining other people's stream, but I haven't really streamed myself in a while. And, didn't know Walter was streaming. I guess I literally started like 10 minutes after he finished, so that was perfect timing. We will miss you. Who's going to miss me? Yeah, no. I've been doing stuff. The weather kind of has been nice the last month or so. It's been reasonable. So I've been yard working every day. I like doing it in the morning when it's cooler before the sun hits. That's why I haven't been really streaming. Walter always used to stream in the morning, and then he stopped when Real World hit him. And then he's starting again because now Real World starts later. And he's like me. He gets up in the morning no matter what. I'm usually up same time he is. He probably gets up a half an hour earlier than I do, but that's only recent. I used to get up about 4:35 every morning, and lately it's been later, although I've been staying up later. Yeah, morning streams aren't the best anyways because everyone else is working. The pumpkin is printing. It's printing a pumpkin. The pumpkin is printing a pumpkin. Hopefully it'll print just peachy fine, and then I will post the file. Not that it's anything special, but it's one of my better ZBrush models. It's far from perfect, but I'm definitely getting better at ZBrush. It's still buggy. I'm sorry, ZBrush is a buggy piece of software. Everyone loves it so much, and I just find it very confusing and rather buggy. But it does work, and it has a lot of power. I'm actually thinking about maybe this weekend when I have free time where I'll be here by myself, I may start really digging into the sculpting in Blender, because it looks a lot similar to the stuff I used to use 15 years ago, which I actually liked better. I still say Sculptris was one of the best easy apps. It wasn't the most powerful, didn't have a lot of features. It just worked. You could sculpt stuff in it. It was like going to school when you were a kid, grabbing a piece of clay and going, and it just worked. Yeah, daylight savings. Actually, no, real time. People don't realize daylight savings is the summer. Actual time is the winter. I know it seems backwards because we've all been trained that way, but real time is the winter. Daylight savings is the summer. I think we should just stay on daylight savings 24 to 365 days a year. I think daylight savings is a better time frame. Well, world time, real time, whatever you want to call it. Real time. It's the real time. Right now we're in daylight savings time, which is not real time. It's fake political time. Yeah, fake time. We're in fake time. You're always in fake time. You are the king of fake time, Mr. Buttram. Yeah, there you go. Standard time. Sorry, I'm old and brain dead. Get over it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's my excuse, and I'm going to use it to the max. I'm old and brain dead. I was brain dead long before I got old, but that's all right. Real time. I want to call it real time, and damn it, I'm gonna. Easter Standard Time. Wow. Mr. Buttram does not often misspell stuff, but I like it when he does. Easter Standard Time. I like Easter Standard Time. I think I'm going to stick with Easter, not Eastern. Easter. Can we just skip the Easter Standard Time? In like a month, we can just skip the whole winter and just move right on to Easter. I don't even care about Christmas and New Year's. We can skip those. Just hop right over to Easter with the bunny. No, not fake words. Yeah, I'm about to go with Pooch and turn off autocorrect because I think autocorrect, my spelling is so bad. I think autocorrect makes it even worse. That makes sense. If I don't use autocorrect, I think you guys would understand what I'm saying way more often than when I use autocorrect. Because between my bad spelling in the first place, because I'm a terrible speller, and my even worse typing, the crap I come up with is just unreal on this keyboard. This thing produces the weirdest junk ever. Anyway, I'm actually getting tired. Why am I tired? I shouldn't be tired. I haven't done a damn thing yet today. Maybe that's why I'm tired. I barely even moved today. Getting that set up was probably the most functioning I did all day. Made Mom breakfast. Yep, that's partial. That's about 80% of it. Yep. The interface between the chair and the keyboard is definitely 80% of the issue. Not 100, but about 80. This keyboard is not bad. It is not a great keyboard. It's a good cheap keyboard because it is cheap. And it's better than a broken keyboard, which is what I had before. But I would not call it a great keyboard. It's not the worst. I've had much worse. Much, much worse. Matter of fact, I know everyone loves Logitech keyboards, but yeah, it was on sale. I could get the square ones too. I just thought the round ones were cute and it was different. I actually returned one already, and I bought the square keyboard keys, and I had to return it because the caps lock and the space bar didn't work, and they didn't have any more. So, and this was actually $5 cheaper because it went on sale when I returned the other one, and they gave me the sale price. And Amazon refunded me $5. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take the round keys." It's the same damn keyboard. Everything about it's the same feel, same touch. It's just round keys instead of square. I don't give a crap. It is certainly not affecting my typing or spelling in any way, shape, or form when those are square around. Solar keyboard? Yeah. Why does that not surprise me? I can't do wireless. That's one thing. There's too much delay. Every Bluetooth or wireless keyboard I've ever had, same with mice, I gotta have wired. Wireless is just too slow, and I don't think it's anything wrong with the Bluetooth or the wireless. I think it's just because I'm using old ass computers that are just old ass computers and don't function that fast if you're using Bluetooth or wireless. Because that's the other thing. This thing's on like Bluetooth 2 instead of Bluetooth 5 or whatever. So it's like old and slow in comparison to modern stuff. Yeah, I think it's the computer more than the keyboard and mouse. Because it's old. It's so old. Mr. Vines had it in his closet, getting ready to go to the garbage. Yep, pretty much old and slow. It's like me. That's where this is actually Brian's computer. He sent it to me because he had a stack of them in his closet from his office that he didn't want to throw out, but he didn't really have a use for because they were too old. And it was still newer than the one I was using before that. Because the other one, which is right over there, is a 2010. And that still works. It's just old and slow. And it's not even that much slower than this. It ran fine. The only issue I had with it is it couldn't play anything but 720 video, period. Just couldn't. Didn't know how. It was before the time of HD. So I didn't know what HD video was. Couldn't do it. Yeah, shoot at HD video, and I went, well, I'll try, but no. Yeah, well, those solar ones, they actually will charge off the, just like your regular interior lights too, right? I mean, it doesn't really take that much power. As long as you have a light on in the room, it's charging it / running it. You don't need to like hold it up to the window. Which is kind of nice. I have seen those, and they do work pretty well. You still need to change the batteries, but like you say, only a couple of years when the battery just plain craps out. It's not discharged. Matter of fact, I think my brother has one of those. I'm surprised, like, laptops and stuff haven't gotten, like, solar panel, like, lids. So when you have it closed and you just sitting there, or even when you have it open, like, have a solar panel on the back of the lid, even when it's folded back a little bit, you're still going to get reflective light and charge the battery, get that much more battery life. What do you have? Because fluorescents don't produce any, right? For some reason I remember something about fluorescents not working for like the right, they don't produce the right color ray or something for charging well. No, but a lot of people do. They sit out in the sun, or even when you're sitting at your desk working, if it's reflecting light back off your desk, just that little bit. I mean, if you can see, there's light. So it would absorb light and just it's not going to charge it, but it's going to keep it from discharging as fast. Like you could extend the battery life an hour by having a solar. Yeah, LED produces everything, I believe. And you can actually get color corrected LEDs, which you can get color corrected fluorescent too. But yeah, oh, definitely. But that's my point. You know, if you're getting 6, 8, 10 hours out of your laptop, if it's got a solar panel on the top or the sides or along the side of the keyboard or somewhere, you might get that extra even a half an hour out of it. It's still, I don't know. I would think it would help. It's just like electric cars. I'm surprised like they haven't made the roof into a solar panel on top or the trunk or the hood. I mean, yes, it's not going to charge the car, but it is going to maintain some of the charge. It's going to make it that much longer. Yeah, but it's not. Solar panels aren't all that heavy. They have like solar panel paint now, for crying out loud, where the only thing you do is you take your hood or your roof or your trunk and you clear coat it once, and then you slap the grid down, and then you put the black, solar paint on top, and boom, you're done. Connect the 2 wires. Weight on an electric car is not really a thing because they're freaking heavy. Batteries are heavy. Yeah, so that would make sense too. I know there are like solar panel roof RVs just for your regular lights and everything. So as you're driving down the road, you have batteries for your lights. I mean, I know, so it's not going to recharge it, but it might help extend the life of a charge. Does that make sense? Yeah, they have solar car races. I've seen those. They've had those since I was in college. They were doing that crap when I was in college. You get the little solar panel and a little motor, and you make the little tricycle. What's up, Robbie Mac? Didn't even see you pop in. Yeah. Solar's not that new. Solar's been around since I was in college. Granted, the technology is way better than it was then. Solar panels are wicked expensive, and it's like $50 for a little plastic panel. Actually, solar back then was mostly hot water, like for your house. But we built a solar house. The house I built back in 89, 90. We built a solar house for my friend up in Vermont, which he proceeded to tear out 10 years later. Because one, he's in Vermont, so he doesn't get that much sun in the first place. He was on the north side of a mountain, so we got even less sun. And it worked. I mean, it definitely helped. The biggest help was he wired his whole house 12 volt, because his whole house back then, I mean, again, 80s, when did we build the house? Late 80s. It's like 89 or 90 we built that house. But all the electronics in the house are from mobile homes. All his ceiling lights, all his lights. I mean, he has 110 outlets everywhere. But even like the TVs and stuff, his TV, his microwave, they're all 12 volt. So now that he tore it out and put regular 110 in, which he had to pay a lot of money to run the wires, because people don't realize, unlike here in Connecticut, to get electrical, if you don't have wires at the end of your street, you have to pay to run the poles to your house. And he was like 5 miles away. Luckily, someone between him and the college, because he's right up from college, put power in their house. So all he had to pay was that last mile. He paid like $3 or $4 grand. So he saved money. He basically sold the solar panels for what he paid to have the power lines run. But now his power is like, because everything's 12 volt in his house, his power bill is like $25, $30 a month. Yep. Solar power car races. Yeah, they had those. They had those even when I was in college. Well, mostly they were like models when I was a kid. Now they're doing actual those and the like bicycle ones that are all they're all now bullets. Basically a big long bullet with a bicycle inside that they lay down and ride for 100 miles. Yeah, sneeze. Oh! Yeah, it's funny. My brother just bought an electric. I think it's a Leaf, and it's got a noise generator because it has to make noise. Oh! He's got two high frequency noise generators on the front that we can't hear, but animals can. So you know, like hit deer and stuff. And then it's got the annoying backup beeper on it. Although it is a much less annoying backup beeper than like construction backup beepers. It's a softer. It's almost as loud, but it's like a different tone. It's actually not. It makes you look, but it's not annoying. Now, if you heard it all day long every day, like I do, those stupid backup beepers are running right now. I know you probably can't hear them on here, but I can hear them. Those are freaking annoying. I would imagine that would get annoying if I had to hear it every day, all day long. Like 3 guys to move him off the track. Yeah. Well, that's why my friend got rid of his solar. I mean, even though it wasn't giving him great juice, it pretty much ran his house except for in the middle of the winter. And he had the generator. He had a massive, like, whole house generator that would kick on whenever the batteries got too low. So he still wasn't paying that much. I think he said he paid like $50-$60 a month in gas. And, which still isn't bad when, wife, 2 kids, Vermont, heat, all that. I mean, he had a wood stove for heat, but it wasn't terrible. But he said the cost of the unit, especially back then, installation and everything, and then every like 7 to 10 years, he had to replace the whole battery bank, and he had like a whole chunk of his basement full of car batteries, basically, with special venting and everything because of the gas offs of the batteries. And again, these were the old. Basically, they were fancy car batteries. I mean, they looked like a car battery. He had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 dozen of them in his basement. In this big, huge rack. And he's like, 7 years later, I had to replace them all, and they wanted like more than I saved for the batteries. So it's not worth it. I mean, obviously now the batteries are still expensive, but they generate more, they hold more, they last longer, blah, blah, blah. I mean, battery technology has improved tremendously. But for someone like him, the amount of power he was getting out of the solar, basically 6 months out of the year was, it was useful in the summer, and the rest of the time it was pretty much useless. The minute the snow fell, it was covered in snow. It didn't melt off faster than anyone else, but Vermont, it may not melt off at all for a month. Then you got to crawl up on the roof and rake it off, or find some kind of way to get the snow off the panel. Heat the panel. And that's what he started doing. He got like rear window defroster strips that he put on top of it, so the solar panel would heat itself. And about the only thing he did like is he had 10 electrical, and then he had 2 hot water. And the hot water, I think he still got up there. Those he left. And he's like, they don't do much, but in the middle of the winter, they maintain like 50-55 degrees in his hot water tank instead of 30-35 degrees. So when he goes to heat up the hot water in his hot water tank, it's that much less. He's got to heat it up. Blah, blah, blah. It helps. And there's really no maintenance to it. It just runs the pump. About the only maintenance to the hot water one is the pump needs to be replaced every once in a while, but that's his whole house pump. He's got it set up so the solar, it basically runs through that and then into the hot water tank. So anytime the pump runs, it runs that too. Purdue alumni, I forget. Black and gold, purple, Purdue. Anyway, I've been going for an hour, so I think I'm going to kill it because nobody else wants to hang out. I'm tired of listening to me babble. And if I'm tired of listening to me babble, you guys must be. So I'm out. Bye-bye.